The alien queen's cruel laughter. Jace stood inside a giant hall, his wrists bound by glowing chains. Tall alien guards pushed him forward. He kept walking, not looking at them, his eyes calm. The walls of the chamber were covered in dark metal and glowing blue lights. At the end of the hall, sitting on a throne of bones and steel, was the alien queen. She was huge, over 8 feet tall, with silver skin that shimmered like moonlight. Her long, sharp tail curled beside her throne. Her golden eyes locked onto Jace the moment he entered. She didn't smile. She grinned, wide and sharp, like a predator. "This is the human?" she asked, her voice deep and cold. A nearby alien general bowed. "Yes, Queen Jarilla, the one from the outer colony, the last survivor." The queen's eyes narrowed. She stood slowly, her towering figure casting a shadow over the hall. She walked toward Jace, each step making the floor vibrate. Jace didn't flinch. Jarilla circled him, looking him up and down. "You're smaller than I imagined," she said with a laugh. "So fragile. And yet, they say your kind thinks you can breed with us." The aliens around her laughed, a harsh, echoing sound. Jace stayed quiet. She stepped close, leaning down, her face just inches from his. "Tell me, little creature, do you truly believe a human could ever mate with a queen of my kind?" Jace looked into her eyes and spoke softly. "I don't need to believe it, your body will know." The hall went silent. Jarilla blinked. Her expression changed for a second, just a flicker. Then she laughed again, louder this time. "Bold words from a species that still uses fire to cook," she mocked. "You think you're different? Special?" Jace didn't answer. His silence made her more curious. The queen turned to her council. "Place him in the observation chambers. Let's see how long his pride lasts." As guards led him away, one elder alien whispered to Jarilla, "Do not mock the prophecy, my queen. The old words say, I know what they say." She cut him off, her smile gone now, but prophecies are stories told to weak minds. Still, her fingers brushed the spot where Jace had looked into her eyes. She felt something strange there. A warmth. A spark. Later that night, Jarilla sat alone in her chamber. She couldn't sleep. Her skin felt warm, her chest tight. Her thoughts kept returning to the human's eyes. There was no fear in them. Only understanding. It unsettled her. She walked to her mirror, a pool of liquid silver that reflected her form. For a moment she imagined her body, different, changed, carrying something inside it. She shook her head. "Nonsense," she whispered. Meanwhile, deep below the palace, Jace sat in a glowing cell. A soft hum filled the air. He stared at the wall, but his mind was somewhere else. She felt it, he said to himself. Her body felt the bond. The next day, Jarilla entered the medical chamber for a routine scan. The machines surrounded, her glowing softly. One medic frowned. "Queen, your vitals are unstable." She turned sharply. "Explain." "Your body temperature is rising. Your hormonal levels have shifted. Enough," she snapped. "This means nothing." But inside she felt the truth growing. She was changing. And somehow, it began the moment she touched the human. Back, in his cell, Jace whispered to himself, "This is just the beginning." And far away, in a secret chamber of the palace, an ancient wall flickered to life. Words written in old alien tongue began to glow. "When the strong laughs at the weak, a child shall rise from silence." The queen's body betrays her, Jarilla, sat alone in her throne room, gripping the edge of her seat. Her long fingers trembled, though she tried to hide it. For the first time in over 2 centuries, the alien queen felt something she did not understand. Weakness. Her heartbeat was faster than usual, her senses sharper, and worst of all, she was restless. No amount of meditation calmed her. The memory of the human's words played in her mind like a quiet song. Your body will know. She wanted to laugh again, but she couldn't. Not this time. In the lower chambers, the palace medics gathered quietly, eyes wide, speaking in hushed voices. One of them, Elder Nall, ran calculations again and again. The data made no sense. Alien queens were the peak of evolution. Perfect, stable, untouchable. But Queen Zarala's readings were changing fast. Hormonal shifts, foreign cell activity. And this, he pointed at the monitor. Her reproductive system is active. Impossible, the younger medic whispered. She hasn't chosen a mate in 100 years. Not chosen, Elder Nall said, slowly, eyes full of fear. Her body has chosen for her. Zarala entered the chamber without warning. All the medics froze. Speak, she ordered. Elder Nall bowed deeply. My queen, your body is preparing for pregnancy. The room went silent. Zarala's voice dropped. That is not possible. We checked twice, a third time. It is real. Her heart pounded. She remembered the spark, the warmth, the human's calm gaze. Her lips curled back, more in fear than rage. What is inside me? We don't know yet, Nall whispered, but it carries both your genetic code and something foreign. Zarala left without a word. Her breath was uneven. The hall twisted before her eyes. She pressed her hand against the wall, steadying herself. No, she told herself. I am the queen. Nothing controls me. Not even fate. But deep inside her, something moved. In the shadows of the palace, the royal council gathered. They had seen the data too. If the queen is truly with child, said one, and that child is part human, we face a threat to our bloodline. Worse, another hissed. We face a prophecy. They all fell silent. Only one dared speak it aloud. When the strong bleeds by the weak, the air shall rise. Meanwhile, in the dark cell far below, Jace sat cross-legged on the floor. He wasn't smiling, but he looked calm, as if everything was going according to plan. The guards kept their distance now. They whispered about him. They saw the queen visit his cell last night. They felt the strange energy in the air after she left. One bold soldier asked, "What are you, human?" Jace looked up. "A father," he said simply. The soldier flinched. Even he felt the truth in those words. That night, Zarala returned to her private chamber. She couldn't sleep. She walked in circles, her body hot with strange energy. And then, it happened. A soft pulse inside her, gentle but clear, like a heartbeat. Her hand flew to her stomach. "No," she whispered. "You are not real." But the feeling grew stronger. It was not pain. It was life. In a dream, Zarala stood in a vast desert, stars swirling above her. The wind carried a voice not Jace's, not hers, but something new. "We are one," it said. "You mocked him, but I chose him." She woke with a gasp, sweat on her skin. She looked around. Her room was still, but her body was not. She was shaking. In the palace hall, she walked slowly toward the mirror of truth, a sacred object never used in centuries. She stood before it, unsure. "Show me," she whispered. The mirror shimmered. Light twisted, and there, floating inside the glass, was her own reflection. Pregnant? She stepped back, horrified. Then, the mirror changed. It showed the child's face. Soft features, glowing eyes, a perfect mix of human and queen. A single tear slid down Zarala's cheek. "What have I done?" she whispered. Far below, Jace looked at the ceiling. He whispered 3 words only the child would hear. "I'm with you." The first signs of life. The palace was no longer calm. Hidden whispers echoed in the long halls. Servants walked faster. Guards gripped their weapons tighter. The news had not been made public, but everyone felt it. Something was happening. To Queen Zarala. Something strange. Something that had never happened before. Zarala herself had locked the throne room for 2 days. She allowed no visitors, not even her high priests or advisors. Inside, she stood barefoot on the cold black stone, one hand resting over her lower stomach. The heartbeat inside her had grown stronger, steady, real. She could no longer deny it. She was carrying life. But it was not just any life. It was his. Far below the throne, in the deepest level of the alien palace, the royal healers worked in silence. Queen Gerala had given them a sample of her blood that morning, without speaking a word. They had been studying it ever since. What they saw on the glowing screen shook them to their core. "This can't be right," whispered healer Joru. "This structure, it's both alien and human." Elder Nal stood behind him, arms folded. "It's not just human," he said quietly. "It's something beyond, something evolved." The embryo wasn't weak, it was powerful, fast-growing, adapting in ways no one thought possible. Parts of its DNA had already repaired ancient flaws in their own species' genetics. "This child is superior," Nal whispered. "And dangerous." The screen flickered again, showing a pulse of energy inside the embryo, like a star trapped in flesh. "What if it survives?" Joru asked. "No," Nal said darkly. "The real question is, what if it chooses?" Gerala stood before the royal mirror again, staring into the shifting images of her future. She had done something no queen had ever done. No alien of her kind had even imagined it. She had mixed blood. Her own people would call it betrayal. Weakness. A break in the sacred chain of purity. But as she looked into the mirror, she didn't see weakness. She saw the child's face again. Clear now, eyes like hers but deeper. A small, calm mouth like Jace, and something else behind those eyes. Power. Choice. For the first time in her long life, Gerala felt fear. Not of death, not of war, but of change. In the lower chambers, Jace was moved to a private cell. No longer chained, no longer watched by 10 guards. They still feared him, but they didn't understand why. He didn't look dangerous. He was calm, silent, still. Yet every hour, something strange happened around him. Machines would flicker, guards would lose focus. The very air seemed heavier. He could feel it. The link. The child was growing. And through that child, he could feel Gerala, her pain, her confusion, and something new, her attachment. That evening, the palace council gathered in secret, cloaked in shadows lit only by the dim fire of the prophecy stone. "She's hiding something," hissed Counselor Viren. "Her energy has changed. Her mind is cloudy." "She visits the human often," said another. "Some say she dreams of him." Elder Krell, oldest of the council, slammed his staff against the floor. "Enough. You've all felt it. The prophecy is awakening. The human is not just a mistake. He is the spark." The room went quiet. "We must act before the heir is born," Krell said. They all knew what he meant. The next day, Queen Gerala summoned Jace. She stood in her private garden surrounded by black vines and glowing flowers. No guards, no weapons, only her. Jace walked in silently. Their eyes met. "It's real," she said. He nodded once. "What is it?" she asked. "Our child," he answered. "And more." "More," she whispered. "Bridge," he said, "between what you are and what you could become." Gerala stepped back. "You speak like a prophet." "No," Jace said. "Just a man. But your body already knows the truth." Suddenly, Gerala grabbed his wrist, pressing his hand to her stomach. He closed his eyes. And then, he smiled. "She's listening," he whispered. Gerala's heart skipped. "She?" she asked. Jace looked into her eyes. "Your daughter." That night, Gerala awoke with a jolt, her body covered in sweat. The stars outside her window shimmered strangely. She could feel pressure in her chest, like a storm building inside. She walked to the edge of her chamber, staring into the sky, and, there, across the dark horizon, hundreds of ships approached. Enemy ships. Her enemies had learned of the child. They were coming for her. For the baby. For him. Jirala clenched her fists. Let them come, she growled. But inside, she felt the child's heartbeat quicken. She wasn't afraid. She was angry. Rage of the alien council. The sky above the capital city burned red with warning lights. Ships hovered in silence, watching, waiting. The galaxy's most feared species, the Kaereth, had come with a message. Not of war, not of peace, but of fear. Inside the council chamber, ancient stone walls trembled with shouting. The royal council had gathered. Every elder, every warlord, every voice that once knelt before Queen Jirala now questioned her rule. She has broken the code, shouted Elder Krell, his clawed hand slamming the table. No queen may carry a seed that is not of our blood. This child will destroy everything we have built. Another voice rose. Our enemies already know. Do you think it is a coincidence that ships now surround our skies? They come not for invasion, but for the child. The council chamber was filled with fear. Fear that the prophecy was real. Fear that Queen Jirala had chosen a human. Fear that their empire would be ruled by a half-blood. Jirala stood outside the chamber doors, silent. Behind her, Jace stood tall, calm, eyes watching everything. They will turn on you, Jace said softly. They already have, she answered. You don't have to fight them. She looked at him. I will fight anyone who tries to touch her. They walked inside together. The shouting stopped the moment she entered. Queen Jirala did not sit. She stood at the center, powerful and still. Her presence silenced even the boldest voices. Elder Krell stepped forward. My queen, we speak, with respect but also with fear. You carry a life that was not chosen by the temple nor blessed by the bloodlords. You are no longer pure. Jirala looked at him without blinking. Purity has made us cold, dying. My body chose what yours never could. Gasps echoed across the room. You speak treason, growled another warlord. You choose a human over your own people? Jace took a step forward, but Jirala raised a hand to stop him. This is not about humans, she said. This is about evolution. My child is not a mistake, she is the future. Elder Krell sneered. Then you leave us no choice. He raised his hand, a signal. The doors burst open. Elite royal guards stormed in, not to protect, but to capture. Law of the High Order, Krell announced. You are removed from the throne. Your child is to be taken, the human executed, and your bloodline cleansed. Jirala stood frozen, her fists shaking, but Jace didn't wait. He moved faster than any of them expected. In one motion, he grabbed the nearest guard, twisted his weapon away, and aimed it back, all before anyone could blink. Stay back, Jace said. Voice calm, eyes burning. For the first time, the aliens realized something. The human wasn't weak. Jirala's power flared. Blue energy rose from her skin. Her tail lashed, her voice turning cold. I gave you loyalty, she said to the council. I gave you peace, war, and victory, and now you betray your queen for fear? Elder Krell stepped back. You gave us shame. Your womb carries death. Jirala's voice dropped to a growl. No, it carries life. The energy burst from her in a wave. The guards were thrown back. Walls cracked. The council shielded their eyes as the queen rose into the air, her power glowing brighter than ever before. The child inside her was awakening. Jace grabbed her hand. Jirala, it's time. She nodded. Together they ran. Through secret tunnels only the queen knew. Past old statues of fallen rulers. Deeper into the heart of the mountain city. Alarms blared behind them. Soldiers chased. Doors sealed. But the queen was faster. Stronger. Every pulse from the baby made her feel more alive, more determined. They reached the ancient escape gate. Jirala placed her hand on the stone. It opened slowly, groaning with age. Once we leave, Jace said, you can't go back. Jirala looked into the tunnel beyond. I don't want the throne, she said. I want her safe. They stepped inside. The door sealed behind them. In the skies above, the enemy ships waited. They were not here to fight. They were here to watch, to see if the prophecy would unfold. In the dark, Jarala whispered to her, "Unborn child, they fear you, little one," she said. "But I don't." A soft pulse answered her. The baby was listening. Attack from within. The night in the jungle was thick with silence, broken only by the soft rustle of leaves and distant alien birds. Somewhere deep in the wild lands, hidden far from her empire, Queen Jarala lit a fire with her own hands, something no queen had done in generations. She no longer had a throne, she no longer had a crown, but she had something far greater, a child, and Jace. They had been on the run for days now, traveling through ancient tunnels and forgotten trails. Jace led the way most nights, his survival instincts sharp, his senses tuned like a soldier. Jarala had grown weaker as the child grew stronger. Her body, though powerful, wasn't used to such rapid change. She sat now on a flat stone, staring into the fire, one hand resting gently on her stomach. Every night she felt the heartbeat, stronger, clearer, and now it pulsed when Jace came close, as if the baby recognized him. "She knows you," Jarala whispered. Jace, sitting across, the fire nodded. "And she protects you." Jarala looked up. "How do you know?" He stared into the flame. "Because I feel her, warning me." They didn't know it yet, but in the shadows of the jungle, 5 cloaked figures crept closer. Elite assassins, from Jarala's own empire. Trained not just to kill, but to erase bloodlines. They had one order: end the child, end the human, and bring back the queen's head. The night felt strange, too quiet. Jace stood up suddenly. His hand went to his blade. Jarala's eyes widened. "What is it?" He didn't answer. He turned slowly, scanning the trees. The fire flickered, then died. Darkness swallowed them. And then it began. The first attacker leaped from above, silent, fast, aiming for Jace's neck, but Jace spun and caught the blade with his forearm, twisting the attacker into the ground. The second came with poison claws. Jace ducked, slashed, and kicked him back. But there were too many. The third slammed into Jace's back. The fourth grabbed Jarala by the arm, dragging her away. She screamed, and in that moment everything changed. A blast of blue light exploded from Jarala's body, not from her hands, not from her mouth, but from her womb. The child inside her had reacted. The attacker was thrown back 10 meters, his armor cracked. The others paused, confused. Jarala stood slowly, eyes glowing, body trembling. The child's heartbeat was now a roar inside her. "Touch her again," Jarala growled, "and you'll never see light again." Jace rose from the ground, blood on his arm, eyes blazing. "They're yours," he said coldly. Jarala didn't hesitate. She moved with fury, her tail slicing through the air, her energy cracking the sky. She struck one assassin with such force that he exploded into ash. The others fled, not out of fear of her, but the unknown power growing inside her. After the fight, the forest was quiet again. Jace helped her sit. "You okay?" Jarala nodded slowly. "She protected me. You protected her first." She looked into his eyes. "They won't stop. Then we won't stop either." Later that night, as rain fell gently over the trees, Jarala sat in the shelter Jace built. Her body ached. Her thoughts swirled like storms. And yet she felt peace. Jace sat beside her, patching the cut on his shoulder. "Why didn't you run?" she asked softly. He smiled. "I don't run from what I believe in." "And what do you believe in?" He didn't answer right away. He looked at her, really looked at her. The once fearsome queen, now scarred, tired, and glowing with new life. "I believe in you," he said. She didn't know why, but tears filled her eyes, not of weakness, not of fear, but of something she had never allowed herself to feel before. Hope. Deep within her, the child pulsed again, not just with life, but with purpose. The baby was more than just a daughter. She was a force, a spark, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The Queen's sacrifice. The jungle had gone quiet again. Too quiet. Days had passed since the attack, but Queen Jirala knew it wasn't over. Her people were hunters. They never gave up, not when the scent of betrayal filled the air, and now to them, she was the greatest traitor in history. She had abandoned the throne. She had protected a human, and worst of all, she carried his child. Jace had built a hidden shelter near the river, deep underground, protected by thick stone and roots. He worked day and night to secure it, while Jirala grew weaker with each passing day. Her body wasn't failing. It was evolving. The child inside her was growing faster than anything her kind had ever seen. Some days she couldn't move, her skin glowing, her heartbeat racing as the baby shifted inside her. Jace never left her side. He cleaned her wounds. He cooled her skin with wet cloths. He held her when she trembled. "You should have run," she whispered one night. "I'd rather die here," he said, "than live without you." But death was not far. The High Priestess had declared a sacred order. Bring back the Queen's body, the child must not be born. A new group of assassins was sent. Stronger, faster, loyal only to the old code. They were not just killers. They were Queenslayers. Back in the underground shelter, Jirala could feel something stirring. The baby inside her was no longer just life. She was light, energy, something ancient and new all at once. The child had dreams now. Jirala saw them when she slept. Visions of stars burning, empires falling, and a voice whispering, "I will change them all," she cried in her sleep. Not from pain, but from the truth. This child was not meant for a throne. She was meant for the galaxy. That evening, Jace found her sitting outside the shelter, watching the night sky. Her skin glowed softly in the moonlight. "You should rest," he said. "I can't," she replied. "I've seen what's coming. More assassins. Worse," she said. "A cleansing. They plan to burn this jungle, kill everything, wipe away the shame. Then we run." Jirala shook her head. "No, you run." Jace stepped closer. "I'm not leaving you." Jirala touched his chest, her hand shaking. "You will. Because she needs to live. And only you can protect her now." Hours later, they heard the humming sound. Dozens of ships above the jungle. Torches fell from the sky, burning the trees. Creatures screamed, the air filled with smoke. They were not just attacking, they were cleansing, burning everything to destroy one unborn child. Jirala stood before the firelight, her long body framed in smoke, her eyes glowing like suns. "They want a queen?" she said. "I'll show them one last time what a queen can do." She kissed Jace, her first kiss and her last. "When it's over," she said, "you take her, promise me." Jace held her face. "You won't die." Jirala smiled sadly. "Queens are not meant to live forever." She stepped into the flames. Her power awakened fully for the first time. Energy burst from her, crashing through the jungle like a wave. Ships exploded in the sky. Assassins screamed and fell to the earth, bones shattering. She walked like a goddess, fire bending away from her, lightning cracking above her head. The baby inside her glowed like a star. And then, silence. Jace found her hours later. She was lying on the grass, the flames all gone, the air still. She was barely breathing. He dropped to his knees, holding her close. "Jirala, stay with me, please." Her hand lifted, touched his cheek. "She's ready," she whispered. "It's time." A soft light shone from her belly, and then, her final breath. The baby was born that night under the broken sky. Jace held her in his arms, a small girl with silver skin and glowing eyes. She didn't cry. She looked at him and smiled, and in that smile he saw Jirala and something more. In the stars above, distant empires trembled because they had failed to stop her birth. And now, she had come. A new empire begins. The child grew faster than any normal being. In just days she could crawl. Within a week she could walk. By the end of the month she spoke. But her words were not like other children's. They carried weight, truth, power. She called herself Sarah, a name neither Jace nor Zarala had taught her. "I dreamed it," she said softly, "before I was born." Jace stared at her with quiet awe. He didn't understand it all, but he felt something deeper, the presence of both her parents living through her. Zarala's strength, his patience, and something far greater than both. Sarah could see things others couldn't. She stood beside Jace one night and pointed to the stars. "They're watching me," she whispered. "Some are afraid. Some are waiting." "For what?" Jace asked. "For me to choose." He didn't ask what that meant. He knew the galaxy was changing, and she was the reason. One morning while exploring the jungle ruins, Sarah stopped in front of an old mirror. The same kind of mirror Zarala had once looked into. But this time, the mirror didn't reflect her face. Instead, it showed planets burning, cities falling, leaders kneeling, and above them all, her. Sarah stepped back. "That is not what I want." The mirror cracked. Meanwhile, far above their world, the alien council had regrouped. Though Queen Zarala was dead, the child had survived. They had failed to stop her, and now they argued about what to do next. "She is just a child," said one. "She is the future," said another. Elder Krell, now weakened and old, spoke with fear in his voice. "She is prophecy, born from the broken line. If she rises, our laws fall." A vote was called. A final mission was approved. On the ground, Jace had started building again. Not just shelters, but small homes. Families from other worlds had started arriving. Some were injured, some had nothing, but all had one thing. In common, they believed the story. They had heard the tale of the human and the queen, and the child who glowed like a star. Sarah walked among them quietly, touching hands, healing wounds, speaking words that made even the toughest warriors cry. But she knew peace wouldn't last. Not yet. One night, as the stars above turned blood red, ships returned. More than before. Hundreds. They didn't land. They hovered like vultures waiting for death. And then, a voice echoed across the sky. "Child of the human and the fallen queen, surrender, or burn with your believers." Jace stood beside Sarah, weapon in hand. "We fight," he said. But Sarah placed her small hand on his chest. "No, we speak." She walked to the top of the ridge, alone. Above her, the ships shifted, weapons charged. Sarah raised her head, eyes glowing with power. "You fear what I am," she said, voice echoing without sound. "But I did not ask to be born, I was chosen." She raised her arms and the ground shook, not with destruction, but with rebirth. From the soil, glowing vines rose. From the sky, dead birds flew again. Wounded soldiers dropped their weapons as their pain vanished. The ships tried to fire, but nothing worked. Their energy died in the sky. Their screens flickered inside each ship. A vision appeared, a vision of a new world, led not by war, but by a child born from two enemies. In the capital of the alien empire, screens turned black. Then a face appeared. Sarah, only a child. But her words made even the strongest generals fall to their knees. "Your rules are old, your hate is heavy, but I forgive you." She paused. "You can kneel to fear, or stand with me." And just like that, the war ended. Not with fire, not with blood, but with choice. Years passed. Sarah grew into a young woman, wise beyond her age. She never took a throne. She never wore a crown. But everywhere she walked, peace followed. Jace, older now, watched from a quiet garden. He smiled as she helped a wounded alien boy walk again. In her, he saw the world that Jirala dreamed of, a world without bloodlines, without hate, without fear. And far across the stars, on forgotten worlds, her name became a whisper. Sarah, the bridge. Sarah, born of the queen and the human. Sarah, the one who ended war with a single breath. The end,